Matchcentre Friday show, your top-notch show for exclusive and in-depth sport analysis. With me here on the show is, I call him the Matchcentre gang, Lolade Akinrole. Nice having you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and my own ever present Ibrahim.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm doing great. Thank you very much for having me today.
We'll straight to the business of the day. A lot happened during the transfer market, and we cannot but talk about it. And the big spenders and what this means. We looked at the top. For me, let's look at the biggest, buyings, the biggest signings. I'm shocked. Saudi League are still dominating the transfer market. They signed this Aston Villa John Duran for 77 million. They are beating City. I was thinking that City could just dominate the transfer market. What do you make of it?
Why were you thinking City would dominate the transfer market? Because of the struggles we have with the players, with the squad?
Of course, they are rich.
Yeah. Honestly, City's transfer business in general has surprised me to a large extent because it's rare for a club to spend that much, during the January transfer window. But I guess it just goes to show that the weaknesses in the squad needed to be addressed immediately, and that's why you see that huge outlay by Man City. But I think they've signed players that would really help steady the team. If you ask me, I think most of those signings would really come to full bearing next season. I think it's a case of just trying to get them in early so that they can, the manager can start to bed them into the team ahead of next season. Because clearly the squad has serious challenges with injuries, and the need to just refresh the squad is ever more glaring.
Wow, interesting. Yeah. But for me, Spain, used to be those days one of the biggest spenders in transfer. But this time around, they are just quiet in the transfer market.
Well, if you look at what the Spanish teams are doing, probably in their league and also in Europe, you'd say they are faring well enough. Barcelona is doing wonderfully well. Real Madrid. And that's literally it, these two teams, and maybe Atletico Madrid. So if it's not problematic, if there's no problem, you are not supposed to fix anything.
Exactly.
So why bring in player when you are doing well?
Yeah.
So I feel that's one of the reasons that we didn't see much from them this last window. And also, if you look at Barcelona having issue with financial issues around bringing in players, even registering players that they already have. So Real Madrid already had brought in an Mbappe that is still trying to find his feet in the team. So there's no need literally to bring in any other player. I just feel like January was the best time for them to just continue with what they have.
Wow, interesting. But we were thinking that the likes of Madrid had some challenges that maybe they could have, because like what you said, if Madrid is not spending, Barcelona is spending, Atletico, these are the big guys that can spend. But me, I was thinking Madrid should buy, but they refuse to buy. Is it because, are they trying to maybe financial fair play and all of that playing out? Because these guys used to spend big.
Yeah, so I think before the beginning of this season, Ancelotti already said that he's not buying any player. That's before the season started, apart from Mbappe that came in. So I believe that's the philosophy he's still running with. You have younger players that can come in, the players from the feeders team. They can always, you have a Gula that is not even playing as much as you expect him to play. Hendrick is there. So I honestly don't believe they have any problem in what the squad that they have now. If anything, it will be to play as a team that is the problem, not because they do not have the players.
Yeah.
So
to add to that, let's also not forget that the January transfer window is not the main transfer window.
Interesting.
People just go in there to address, emergencies, really, if you like. Exactly. So I don't know how many very good players have been signed in January. If you look at over the years, you tend to see that the big signings happen during the normal end of season transfer window. Yeah, but January is just that opportunity for teams to address maybe possible gaps that have emerged in their squad as a result of injuries and all of that. So the activity is usually not that much. But like I said earlier, it's no surprise that Man City, went big this window because they have obvious challenges with their squad due to injuries. But then again, you can make the point that quite a number of English teams, you know, you'd have expected them to also strengthen this January, like Arsenal, for instance. You know, the problems they have, you know, in attack, especially with the injuries they have as well. But you know, it's really difficult. I mean, just looking at the historical trend, it's really difficult to do great deals in January. But I think from what I've heard, I think Man City, I mean, it's a surprise that they've been able to pull this the signings they've done to pull it off. I think they've signed really good players, if you ask me. Yeah.
So I think for me too, January transfer are actually really ridiculous when it comes to the amount being paid for players that you're not supposed to even pay 30 million
because
for.
these things are being done in
desperation. Yes, it's all
like a panic buy.
Panic buy, exactly. So you're trying to like bring in a player for just come as you know,
and the selling club will squeeze that. They'll ensure they get the best
to
value
pay more. Exactly. So we had the record of Fernando Torres coming down to Chelsea from Liverpool in January, and we saw how that panned out. And so for Man City, you also this is a team that normally stays in the top 2 every season, at least in the last 6 seasons, and now they are literally below top 4. So they need to bring in those players to come and do the magic, if you ask me. So they need to like shuffle the team a little bit and bring, like Mr. Ladi said, they're also preparing for next season with those, because they are young guys, and mostly they don't even speak. Most of them don't speak English.
I think
so. They need to learn and all of that.
We'll go there. We'll go to that shortly. But again, I'm trying to like break down each league. And again, look at the French League One. PSG, they didn't spend much, but they tried. AC Milan, they tried. Not too much of activity, but the Middle East, Saudi, the Al Ahly, and all of that. It's like competing with Man City in this January transfer window. And I'm saying that it's like a new destination.
Of course, it is. It is. I mean, there's one mistake that people make, that people forget that sometimes. I mean, these footballers, they also follow the money. It'll be a mistake to think that players don't consider the amounts involved in terms of how much they could potentially earn in salaries when they think about which clubs to move to or which clubs to stay back in. So it's the allure of playing in the Saudi league is not fantastic, but it comes with such a huge pay rise. I mean, for John Duran, if you look at his story, you would see that it's a no-brainer for him to have accepted that deal, even though at a young age he's under 24, isn't he? 21. To go to Saudi Arabia,
at that age.
Goes to show that,
I think he'll just do 3-4 years, then he'll probably come back to Europe and get it kicking, because most time when these players come from North and South America, even Africa here, they tend to go for the money. After the money, some of them turn back to play for the big boys. He still have age. He's still very young, 21. If he's doing 4-5 years in Saudi, he'll still be 26. He can only still come back to Europe, England, Germany.
So he should secure the bag first.
Secure the bag first. Exactly. So I think that's one of the things that Tevez did one time. So he moved around a lot, because when in an interview he said his family was very poor. He had to settle every one of them before playing football the way he wanted. So I think when they come from these regions, they tend to follow the money a lot.
Even our own Boniface too was close to. In fact, they were supposed to sign him before they changed their mind. 64 billion. For me, it's big, and the guy was excited about it, saying, "Well," and I was wondering. People were saying that Boniface, 24 years, going to Saudi League. They used to call it Farmers League, but now the dynamics are changing. It's no longer the Farmers League. I think I call it Money League. It's Money League, and we are likely to see more of this in the coming transfer windows. A lot of upsets. You see players 2021, 22, Spanish League, Italian League, going to Saudi League. It's all for the money, because football is a big thing. It's a big thing. You need to spend to grow your league. Wow, interesting. So for me, let's go straight to Man City, and we were talking about City before now. City over the weekend lost to, I won't say lost, battered or woefully. He lost to Arsenal. And the shocking thing is that after spending so much in the January transfer window, is it that with all these spendings, top 4 finish, is it debatable for City?
Well, it's too early to say that. Obviously the January signings were not supposed to come into the Arsenal game and turn the game around. I mean, how many of the new signings even played? It was just Omar, marmoush. But the thing is, like I said earlier, I think some of those signings is really building for the future. Yes, of course, City's place in the top 4 is being threatened now because you have quite a number of very good teams that are pushing for that top 4 spot. You have Newcastle now. I think Man City and Newcastle, they are tied on the same level of points, 41 points, if I'm correct. City 5th and then Newcastle 4th. So this signing is definitely, perhaps, I mean, it will be a pleasant surprise if they actually do help reverse the tide of Man City's season, which has been really a case of a lot of fumbles, you know. But the main test of how well the signings would come, you know, would impact City would be for the next season at least. You know, that's when I think you could do a very objective evaluation of the impact that they've had. But that's not to rule out the fact that they are supposed to still at least, you know, have some sort of impact from now till the end of the season. If you look at the problem position for City, it's been defensive midfield. You know, opposition teams have just essentially bypassed that midfield. It's totally non-existent these days, and that's why Arsenal were able to even get those 5 goals. You know, because of Rodri's injury. So now that City have signed Nico Gonzalez from Porto, hopefully the guy would go straight into the team and help to plug those holes that have emerged as a result of Rodri's absence. So yeah, some of those signings would come to would have an impact before the end of the season, but the real impact would be for next season, I imagine. You know that there's this, if you look at the trend of signings that Pep Guardiola has made at City, the players tend to have an underwhelming first season, and then the next season they really kick on. Even the Rodri, you know, there's a Ballon d'Or winner today. When City signed him, the first season he was below par. You know, he wasn't. People were already making suggestions that perhaps the English league, you know, was too fast for him, too fast paced, given that he was coming from Spain, Atletico Madrid. But you know, after that, I mean, no one can say that today. So yeah, they would need time, but Man City would definitely be hoping that some of these signings would help turn around their season and help secure a top 4 spot, which I feel is the only realistic target for them now. Yeah,
for me, he said they will need time. So the question is that time. But for me, you know, Guardiola was saying that this is all over and all of that. But for me, you can't make that kind of signing. You know, former Premier League winner and all of that, and you are still struggling to make top 4. For me, I looked after that match game. I feel like it's like the season is always like concluded for City.
So I honestly doubt that, because we're talking about a Manchester City that's been managed by Pep Guardiola. So it is not over until the 38 games have been played.
38 games, yeah.
So because like you said, he's brought in 4 players this last window, and it's currently sitting I think 5th.
Yeah.
Fifth.
Level on points with Newcastle.
Newcastle. With the issue of making top 4, I think they can actually make top 2, not even top 4, because you look at the teams that are number 2 to number 4. We talk about Arsenal.
I don't think Arsenal fans will take that lightly.
I don't care about their feelings. If you look at the data, you look at their record in the last 2-3 seasons, Arsenal has always fumbled, especially when in the last 10 games of the season, and now they are just 9 points, 3 matches ahead of Man City. Then you have a Nottingham Forest that's literally, you know, having the best time of their life this season. You can always still go down. Then you have Chelsea that is not consistent. At least the word consistently consistent. That's the Chelsea team for you today. So, and then you have a Man City that can always, you know, eat you, give you a run for your money. So if you look at Manchester City, the quality there, I think the issue now is just that the team in itself is not, you know, compact yet.
Okay, I want to
make it top 4.
I want to ask you, some of those players that were signed, for me, I see them as I can't say they are top class players, no, because you can never get a top class player in the January transfer window, because any top class player is already cup tied. So, and some of these players are like fringe players, and throwing them to that deep sea. Man City is like a deep sea. The other time, one of them was like naive. He got booked and Guardiola said, please come out. So for me, seeing this kind of guys, naive players, slightly above average players, and you can't rule out what Nottingham Forest is doing. Forget the name, but Nuno Espirito is doing very well with Nottingham Forest. Chelsea, they're like 5th seed now. They're on the, so looking at what City, I'm not looking at past glory. Looking at these additions, these additions for me are not like the kind of additions is not for now. is for next season. So that puts a doubt in City's top 4 finish, because as it is, all these guys, for me, and again, you look at Pep Guardiola, yes, fantastic manager. Football is a mind game. Currently now, the guy is going through a lot. And you and I know, if you are not mentally stable, even at your workplace, you can't give you 100%. Yeah. So all those factors could also play out. And looking at the way, ordinarily, Pep Guardiola will not lose to Arsenal shamefully. So for me, it's like a red flag.
But Tony, so you make the point about the average players. Not all of them are average players, so to speak. You know, Omar Marmoush, for instance, you know, had the second highest goal involvement across Europe's top 5 leagues, you know, just behind Salah, right? But again, if you look at the
out of 5
trend,
out of 4,
yeah,
you just mentioned one.
True.
How many goals
Nico Gonzalez was playing in Porto before he joined. The defender from Uzbekistan as well. He was playing in RT Lens. And then the other guy from Victor Reis. I think he was from Palmeiras or so. No, but you know, Pep Guardiola is not the kind of manager that's really gone ahead to sign world-class talents all the time. You know, these are the type of average players that he brings in, and then he coaches them and brings the best. Yes. Precisely. You know, and I keep going back to the example of Rodri. Rodri is the first Manchester City player to ever win a Ballon d'Or.
Rodri was a talent.
These guys are all talented players, but Rodri was not world class when he was signed.
No, he was not world class. But Rodri was a better rated player than all these players.
No, I don't think so. I don't think. In fact, Rodri didn't have a starting position. Where did he was with Atletico Madrid.
I'm saying no.
He didn't even have a starting spot. You don't know that. He was being benched then by Thomas Partey.
Rodri was.
So it was easy. He was a fringe player. It was easy for him to come in. If you look at Nico Gonzalez, in fact, Nico Gonzalez, somebody who has gone through the La Masia Academy, was in Barcelona. He would have gone back to Barcelona if not for the financial struggles that they have. So he's even coming to City with a higher reputation than Rodri, if you ask me. He's been the main man for Porto in midfield, you know, and then giving what. So Pep is the guy who makes.
So you guys have not mentioned. You've not mentioned what I just pointed out. Currently, Pep, people have suggested that he needs to take a sabbatical because you can't be badly two things.
Someone who's just separated from his wife.
Yes, he's going through a lot of mental torture, and you can't take that away. Yeah. And it is playing down on the team. It is obvious. It is showing because at the time when people felt that he will resign or step back, he signed another 4 years. I think that triggered the wife's emotion. I said, "Come on, you're not been having time with me. You now went ahead and signed under extension."
Yes, I agree. I agree that would definitely take a toll on his, you know, the performance of the team and all of that. You know, what is happening to Pep Guardiola on a personal level. But let's not over-exaggerate it. I mean, when he lost his mother, City ended up winning a domestic treble. You know, so let's not over-exaggerate. Yeah, it's definitely. It would definitely have an impact on the team and the performance of the team because it would definitely impact Pep Guardiola, the manager. But I think that he's professional enough to
handle it.
Yes,
to separate his personal life from work.
Yeah.
So for me, I think my addition would be that the 4 guys I see is bringing in not just for next season, also to try as much as possible not to do bad or worse than the team is currently doing. So
like to salvage
exactly.
Situation.
But my issue with those signings is the fact that he didn't even look at the English Premier League for a quick fix. Just get one player here, get one player there that could speak English and that could easily, come to the team.
Hang on a minute.
He said he's not looking at
of the 4 signings. Omar Marmoush speaks perfect English. You know that. Nico Gonzalez speaks perfect English as well.
Okay.
Victor Reis, and then obviously
the guy from Uzbekistan.
So
but these guys didn't play in the
EPL. But you know that going to England, shopping for a player in England during the January transfer window will come at a steep cost.
No. So I'm talking about a loan deal. Most of the deal in the EPL
this season
but he's not looking at short term. Because these guys are apparently young players that can give 6-7 years.
Precisely.
So for me, why he is looking at I just hope that the season is not over for Pep Guardiola and for all the Man City fans, you guys should just keep hope alive and keep faith alive. And they say it's not over until it is over.
But why are we not also talking about Arsenal that failed to strengthen in the attack?
No, but they're not doing. They're second.
Isn't it shocking?
That's
Well, yeah,
Does it show a lack of ambition, really? They're not ready to win.
So I think Arteta feels.
Let's not bring Arsenal here. The question here is that you guys have spent so much, and we are not seeing the results. Arsenal, we know they have their injuries, but they're still second.
You mean Man City?
City, that's what I mean. Okay. City have spent so much.
Okay.
Arsenal, for them, even if they finish second at the end of the season, they'll pump
like
champagne.
Exactly.
Yeah, they'll celebrate. Their situation is not like, it's not precarious like Man City's situation. So the other day, Arteta was lamenting, but I'm sure if he wants to buy, he would have bought a player. Well, for Arsenal, I don't see them. I don't see Arsenal placing the Premier League as their priority. I think for them, the top 4 finish is their biggest priorities, and I'm sure they can achieve that. Given worst case, they will finish top 4.
So top 4, yeah, FA Cup there.
I don't think the owners and Arteta would agree with that. That they'll be satisfied with the top 4 finish, especially given how much they've spent in the last 3 years at least under Arteta.
But they're not doing as if they want to win the league. They're not doing as if they want to win the league.
Because you
go hard or go home. Go hard or go home.
Exactly.
The amount that's been spent, then go the extra mile. Address all of the pain points. Yes, and then
because I'd expected an Arsenal team to get 1 or 2 players in this last window because this is literally the best time to get it done. This is the best time to get it done. You don't have a Manchester City.
Look at Osimhen, for instance. How did Osimhen end up going to Galatasaray alone?
It's like you read my mind. I was saying that perhaps the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal, United, perhaps are waiting for Ijaya, our own Victor Osimhen. By summer,
hopefully it comes to Chelsea.
So perhaps maybe they are like waiting that, okay, let's wait for this big guy to come. And for me, going to Arsenal, I don't know. Chelsea, I don't know. United. So
I feel like Osimhen will probably be playing in England next season alongside this Sporting Lisbon player, this Gyökeres, because these are the most sought after strikers in the world right now. These 2 guys, and what better club to go to than to play for Arsenal?
You left Isak out. Isak is
Isak is currently playing with Newcastle team.
Yeah, but you know what I think. So maybe sometimes it's simplistic when we say that a club has a deficiency in this area or this area of the team, and they need to address it. They could just sign someone and bring. I think there's a lot more that goes into player transfers than just this guy is good and he can, there's so many other things. You don't want to upset the balance.
The balance, yes.
And if you notice, Arteta has been constantly talking about, we're trying to get players in, but not just any. But the
players that suits the
sometimes you'll be surprised that sometimes the players' attitude
and the salary structure.
So like I think like the issue we're having right now with Real Madrid, where if you're having a Vinicius and Mbappe on the pitch, they don't perform so well. But when you have one of these guys, they are playing wonderfully well. Either one of them plays good.
You can't allude to that fact for now. It's too early.
No, it's too early. But so far, the matches that these guys have played together.
How many matches have they played together?
Yeah.
And so you can't allude to that. Let them play one full
season. But so far, it's been that way. So let's see if it changes with time.
So that's the trend right now.
Even Vinicius too did not become a superstar overnight. He has spent so much season at Real Madrid. Yeah, so Mbappe is just coming in. So he will need time to blend. And he's not doing badly at the moment.
No,
so that's by the way. Just one last thing. Your last words. City, sure, they will finish top 4 or dicey or debatable?
No, not debatable. They are making top 4. As a matter of fact, they will make top 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I look at the second to fourth position team, and those guys are not people that you trust to keep on the momentum till the end of the season.
They'll gas out.
You look at Chelsea losing to a deficient Manchester City, 3-1. So you see what I'm talking about. So when they play, say, Nottingham Forest and
Forest to gas out.
Exactly, because the depth in squad, the quality of manager, the pedigree that Manchester City is also coming with back-to-back Premier League winners.
So you're backing Pep Guardiola's
top 4
to push for a top 4 finish for the citizens.
Exactly.
Lolade, you're a City fan. I don't expect anything less.
But I'm an objective City fan. I'm not. I think top 4 is realistic. I mean, I've been saying it for a while now that people who were thinking at some point that maybe Man City could still stage a late come back and perhaps even win the Premier League. I said, no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Not when you have that many injuries, and the team is very unstable. Injuries at the back. Every single centre back for City this season has been injured. They've been in and out, and then of course Rodri's absence. So top 4 is realistic, but I believe that I won't be surprised if Man City didn't actually make the top 4. To be honest.
Why?
Because clearly because of the challenges that the team is having to deal with right now. Yeah, but I know for sure that top 6 at least will be in Europe. Maybe not in the Champions League, but the Europa League. Maybe it's time for City to win the Europa League for
I actually love to see Manchester City play in Europe outside the Champions League, probably a conference or.
What do you mean?
Europa League.
I didn't say conference. Europa is fine.
They've been playing before the.
But they never did well.
Before Pep Guardiola brought them from that.
But they never did well.
I think that's a course.
Never did.
He brought you guys from that course. Is it like he's taking you back there again?
Oh, come on, it's too soon.
Okay, that's fine. We hope you enjoyed today's show. This is all we can bring to you, and we hope you enjoyed today's show. My name is Anthony Lebem, and Lorade, thank you for always showing up anytime I call.
Thank you.
Yeah. Brian,
thank you
so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, see you next week. Thank you. Bye.